If you've been thinking about starting a garden with your kids, but you're worried you'll mess it up, good news. I've made all the mistakes for you. After 15 years, I've killed all the easy plants, wasted hundreds of dollars, and learned exactly what works and what doesn't in Houston's wild climate. Today, I'm sharing 5 failures that will save you time, money, and frustration. Every single one of these moments, embarrassing, expensive, or both, taught me something that made me a better gardener. And I promise you will walk away knowing how to avoid every one of them. Hey friends, Vandana here. Welcome back to Grow with Vibrant Rainbow Gardens. Hey there, welcome to Grow with Vibrant Rainbow Gardens, your go to space for growing, thriving seasonal gardens right here in the wild and wonderful Houston climate. I am Vandana, organic gardener, a permaculture enthusiast, and a garden coach with over 15 years of hands in the soil experience. Whether you're starting with a pot of herbs or a backyard full of weeds, you're in the right place. Each week, I will share practical tips, real life stories, and trusted strategies to help you skip all the overwhelm and grow with confidence. Let's dig in. By the end of this episode, you will know the number one planning mistake that turns excitement into overwhelm, why research before you buying saves you hundreds of dollars, how to match plants to the seasons, not what the store says, the watering and soil tweaks that actually work in Texas heat, and how to design gardens you can maintain long term without burning out. So, let's dive into the messy truth because the best gardeners aren't the ones who never fail, they're the ones who learn from it. Okay, failure number one, the year I planted all the tomatoes. Let's start with the year of tomato jungle. This was my third year gardening and I had gone all in. I started 10 to 15 varieties from seed, multiple seeds per variety, and ended up with way too many. Instead of giving them away, I planted them all, every single one. To make them fit, I planted them so close together, my trellising plant out the window. And because I was experimenting, I set up a mix of overhead and ground sprinklers, basically the perfect setup for chaos. For the first month, it looked amazing. Lush green vibes, tons of growth. Then I missed a few weeks of pruning and trellising, and that's all it took. By mid season, I had a tangled jungle, poor airflow, and barely any fruit. I had to cut away half of my plants just to bring to order and ended up with almost zero tomatoes. So, what this taught me, enthusiasm without planning equals chaos. You can't cheat airflow, spacing, or organization, no matter how excited you are. Now I plan everything before I plant. Where will supports grow? How will I reach each plant? Can air flow freely? 5 minutes of planning saves hours of frustration later. Failure number two. I'm calling it the $200 hydrangeas. It was 2020. right after quarantine, and I was desperate for something joyful. The nursery was my only escape, and they were there. Two huge, perfect hydrangeas in dreamy shades of blue and pink. Without thinking twice, I bought both. $200 worth of hope and planted them in my sunny front yard. Then I did what I always do, researched after the fact. Turns out hydrangeas need partial shade. I had zero shade in my west facing front yard. Within a week, both were crispy and gone. So, what did this start teach me? Never let excitement override education. Expensive plants aren't low maintenance plants. Always match plants to your space, not the other way around. Now, I check light, soil, and heat needs before buying. Those hydrangeas taught me that 5 minutes of research saves $200 of regret. Moving on, failure number three, the cilantro that bolted in 1 week. One July afternoon, I was craving salsa and thought, no problem. I will just plant a little bit more cilantro. So I went to a big box store and I bought seedlings. I planted them in 95-degree Houston sun and waited. Within 3 days, they flowered. Within a week, they were tall and gone. That's when I learned cilantro is a cool season crop. October through early spring, I plant them every single week. And here's the big lesson, just because a store sells something, that doesn't mean it's the right time to plant it in Houston or plant it in anywhere. Most of the big box store sells on a national schedule. They don't curate for local weather. What did this teach me? Houston seasons are unique. Have to check planting calendar before buying any plants. If you need a Houston tested planting calendar, I will link mine in the show notes. It'll save you from so many facepalm moments. Failure number four, the year I killed half my crop by not watering enough. This one's ironic because most people overwater, but I did the opposite. I still do the opposite for all my local indoor plants. It was one of those brutal Houston summers. I had planted veggies in grow bags, watered every morning. But by mid afternoon, they were bone dry. My mix was a little too light and fast draining, and half my plants didn't make it. What did this teach me? Grow bags dry out much faster than the raised beds. I had to adjust my soil mixture with additional compost and coir to hold more moisture in the grow bags. So, in peak summer, at least provides a midday shade for young plants in containers. Now, I grow trees in grow bags with water retaining soil mixtures and additional shade. The plants are thriving. Also, it's not just about watering, it's about understanding your soil and your plant needs. Failure number five. Oh, this is a good one. expanding my garden way too fast. Few years ago, I got so impatient. I wanted my dream garden now. So I converted a massive 50-foot by 8-foot space into one huge bed, beautifully layered with compost, mulch, and more mushroom compost. I planted everything. I had like daikon, radishes, asparagus, even apple trees and moringa tree. You name it. It looked magical. But I forgot one thing: maintenance. It was one huge bed. There was no pathways. There was no weed prevention strategy. There was no plan for success. For the next year, I had a morning glory vine take over the whole bed. The year after, I had thousands of morning glory vines. It got so bad, I had to pay someone about $500 just to clear it up. What this taught me was thoughtful design with maintenance in mind beats rushing every single time. Pathways and access and weed control aren't extras, they are the foundation of a thriving garden. It is easier to build something right than fixing it later. So, there you have it. My five of my biggest gardening fails. The tomato jungle that taught me planning matters. The $200 hydrangeas that taught me research first but buy later. Cilantro that taught me timing is everything. The summer I lost all my plants to dry soil. And then the garden that taught me design equals longevity. There is one thread that ties them all together. It's this: gardening rewards preparation, patience, and presence. Each mistake taught me to slow down, plan ahead, and make choices that fit the real conditions, not ideal Pinterest photos. If your garden ever feels frustrating or you're unsure where to start, let's work together. You can book a one on one coaching session with me or a consult session where we'll design your garden for your space, time, and lifestyle. Together, we can create a plan that's simple, sustainable, and actually brings you joy. I will link the links in show notes. Or you can just DM me on Instagram at Vibrant Rainbow Gardens and say consult. I would love to hear from you. What is your biggest gardening fail? Share it with me on Instagram. Let's swap stories and laugh about it together. Because the best gardeners aren't the ones who never mess up, they are the ones who keep learning and keep growing. Alright, friends, happy gardening. And remember, every failure is just a lesson in disguise. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Grow with Vibrant Rainbow Gardens. I hope it gave you some fresh ideas and grounded confidence to take that next step in your garden. If you loved today's topic, be sure to subscribe and leave a review. It helps other local gardeners find the show. Want to go deeper? Grab one of my free resources, book a one on one consult, or check out my latest workshops at vibrantrainbowgardens.com. All the links are waiting for you in the show notes. Until next time, keep planting, keep growing, and trust your garden instincts.